Hello, Adam here. Glad you're with me again today. And today, after being gone from painting for a couple months so I could design a new studio, I'm ready to paint. And today, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint a painting. I'm not going to look at something from reference. I really want to show you that if I can paint, you can too. I'm going to grab a 2-inch brush. I'm going to come right up here in some Prussian blue, and I'm just going to touch it, tap it in there. All right, with blue, you do want to tap it a few times to make it even in the bristles. And I'll come up here to the corner. Just start using some crisscross strokes and laying in the sky. Leave a couple spots open. That'll kind of help to look like clouds. And as you bring the paint down, you allow it to get lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. Okay? It's going to kind of wipe this out just a little on a paper towel. When I paint, I try to paint where I don't really have to clean brush as much while I'm painting. I just don't like to do that. For one, it keeps the odors down. I don't have to constantly have, a cleaning solution open while I'm painting and breathing all that in. Even though it's odorless, it's, probably not the best to be breathing all that in all the time. So that's my technique, but if you want to clean as you go, that's fine too. Okay, now I'm going to come up here and just touch a little bit of crimson. Just a little bit. Again, tapping it just to kind of make it even. And I'm going to come right in, right in here. Kind of cover a little bit of the bottom of the blue. And just crisscross this paint all the way across. And I'll tap this out just a little bit, or wipe it out on a paper towel. I've always got several paper towels down here just ready to go. And that helps me to keep on going with my painting. Blend that in just a little bit. Okay, now what I think I'm going to do is just grab a fan brush, come over here and get into some white. Try to make it even on the bristles. I don't fill the entire fan brush, just kind of keep it on the edge of it, maybe to the halfway point of the bristles. Load it pretty good, and I'm going to come over here where the white areas are and just kind of emphasize them a little bit. Just turn in circles, letting it stick up above into the blue, make it look like clouds. And see down in here where I left the white, you don't even have to do much blending because that's already there. So the distinguished tops of the clouds just pop out when you turn the circles into the blue a little bit. And I'll come over here and do the same. Just continuing to make little circles, pushing the corner. That's all I'm doing. It's very, very simple technique for clouds. Okay, and then if you do want to do a little bit of blending with the clouds, I suggest a mop brush. That's what I like to use, and you can just turn it just a little bit. It's a very light bristled brush that is just great for blending. But really with this one, we don't have to do too much. It's looking pretty good already. All right, well, how about let's grab a palette knife and let's put a mountain in this painting. We're just going to put a mountain somewhere right in here. For that, I'll just grab some dark color. I'll mix it up right here. A little bit of brown, a little bit of crimson, a little bit of Prussian blue. This needs to be dark. I like getting a few different colors in there because, you know, those different tones can match a lot of different scenes. And we'll just mix it up pretty good. Wipe off the knife. Come over here and just get a little bit of paint on the end of the knife, just like that. All right, let's come over here and where do I want this mountain? I think sticking up to about, oh, right here. Bring it up. I just kind of smash it and just kind of let it come down. General way that I do it. I'm not going to make a real fancy mountain today. I'm going to make a peak there. And let's make one more peak right there. Bring this on over that way. I did not put a ton of paint on here, so I don't have to spend a lot of time scraping. And I'm going to grab my 2-inch brush, same brush I was using, okay? And I'm going to come up here and just pull this down. All right, it's going to define the base of the mountain a little bit and get this paint where it's starting to blend into the painting. Okay. Good. Again, I'm going to wipe it out. Wipe it out on some paper towels I got laying right here. And I'm just going to come in here and tap this. Try to make it look misty at the bottom. And you keep going like this, and it ends up looking like trees in the background. It's all good. Grab my mop brush and put a little mop brush magic on it. All right, let's go back to the palette knife. I'll make sure it's wiped out good, and let's come up here and get some white. Just cut through it, get some white on the end. And I'm going to start right here. I'm holding my knife very straight up and down, okay? And there's several ways you can lay on paint. You can, you know, do it like Bob Ross does and touch it and whip the knife down kind of fast at the end. Or you can do it more slow and intentional. Kind of the way that Bill Alexander does it. Just find something that works for you. That's all you got to do. Let's put a little bit over here. Back little mountain over here. Come in like that. And I'll mix up a little bit of shadow color and then work on the white again here in a moment. I'll put some white right there, a little bit of blue. I'm going to throw just a tad of crimson in that. Just a little bit. You can see just a little bit. And it's not perfectly mixed. It's almost completely mixed. And I'll start back here. Touching right there and letting that come down. Okay. And let's do it over here. Big peak. Light touches. I always have to remind myself, light touches. That truly is key on these mountains and anywhere you're laying paint. Light touch. Oh, what else do I want to do? Let's see. Let's drag that a little bit. Blend that into it just a little. Okay. And let's get some more white. And let's come up right in here. Try to make that to where it's not so straight. Right there. Okay. Okay, maybe we'll work on that mountain a little bit more, but that kind of gives me an idea. Again, I don't have any references. I just want to see what this looks like, step back, take a look at it, and work this picture as we go. And one thing I probably should have done in the very beginning, I should have grabbed some of this blue. Again, we'll even it out over the bristles. And I probably should have worked some water in here. You know, if you don't end up needing water later, you can always just cover it up. It's no big deal. But generally starting where you have this is a decent idea if you don't know where you're going to end up with the painting. Now, if you know precisely what you're going to do, then of course, you know, that wouldn't matter. Not if it's a painting without water, but if you're going to have water or might have water, it's a good idea to go ahead and start by doing this. But that's all right. It's one thing that's great about this technique is it's very forgiving. It's kind of hard to mess it up to the point you can't come back and fix it later. Okay. All right, now what I think I'm going to do, just looking at this painting and figuring out as I go, I think I'm going to take and mist this up in here with a little bit of pink. I like that pink color right there. All right, so I'm not sure what time of day this may be, but I'm just going to take a little bit of pink and kind of get it in here. Might have to hit a little bit of white so it's not so red. And this is a crimson color. There we go. Just kind of mist it in here with that color. For me, it's cohesive in the painting when you do this. Maybe there's a little less over here because there's a little less pink sticking out over here. All right, so my mist on this side it'll have a pinkish glow to it. Come back with my mop brush. Lift this up with the angle of the mountain over here. Twirl that into those background trees over there. And just continue to mist up the base of this mountain. Okay. Good. All right, now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a fan brush, and I think I'm going to kind of build on this concept. I'm going to kind of make some trees that run this way. Run this way, background trees. I guess they're probably evergreen trees. I'm just going to take a little bit of this color that I had right here for the mountain. Just make use of it since it's there. And put it into the blue. See that? I like having a bluish tint to background trees at times. All right, let's just come right over here. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to push kind of straight into the painting. See that? Just kind of pushing straight in, making sure the trees are connected a little bit, making sure all the heights are not the same, making sure I come down to the point I can get a little bit of this mist that we just made. You know, it happens sometimes when you're painting, you got a good idea and something turns out good and then you cover it up. That's okay. You can always still enjoy the fact that you practiced. But if you think about it, you can also try to avoid covering up something that you intended to be in the painting. Okay. And bring this over a little bit more. Getting smaller as I go down. Perfectly fine that these are pretty faint trees. And somewhere over there. Okay, now just get a little bit more of the color and extend this into the water for reflections here in a moment. Okay. Something like that. And I'm going to take my 1-inch landscape brush because I haven't used it yet. And I'm going to use that to make some reflections right in here. All I'm going to do is just touch and pull down. Touch and pull down. These reflections aren't done. Just getting an idea. Whenever you just kind of paint with, you know, with no design you're looking at, you just kind of put it on there and take a look at it. Make adjustments as you go. Good. And you can start to see a little bit of a water effect, a little bit of a reflected effect of those trees in the water. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my palette knife. I'm going to get a little bit of this green. I'm going to stick it in this darker color right here. And we're going to build some closer trees. For that, I'll just go back to my fan brush, same fan brush. Don't need to switch it out. You know, I had a little bit lighter color trees. Now I'm going to darker trees. That works just fine. Oh, let's see. I don't want to have too many. But I think I'll have a tree right here. Hopefully you can see that. I'm just going to tap where I want the tree. Bring it down. And I'm really hoping that this painting, well, I haven't done trees in a while, it's going to come back to me. I can feel it. Bring this down right here. Just about right there. Just like that. And I say a while, I started working on my new studio here. Just after Christmas. It's the beginning of March right now. So it's been a moment. And where do you think? What do you think? Maybe one more right here? It's kind of sticking up there. Just tapping the edge. Tap, 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 back and forth. Letting it get a little flatter. Coming out a little more as you go down. That's all there is to that. Let me see if I can help the look at this. Bring that up. So there we go. There we go. Like that better. Okay. And now let's do this. Let's reflect these in the water. Do just like this. Kind of a backwards deal. You know, you don't have to do it this way. You could just take paint and just drag it down for reflections, but you know, I do it different sometimes. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm gonna get a little bit more dark. A lot of times the reflections in the water are even darker than the object themselves. Bill Alexander was huge on that. He called it giving the painting more oomph, more power. All right, now just take this brush that I used for reflections a minute ago and just lightly bring that down, just like that. I'll wipe it out so I don't have a bunch of streaks coming. Hopefully, we'll see. And just bring it this way, just gently. Just gently. Good. Okay, before I go too much further, I'm going to come over here. I got a little bit of liquid white. I've always got liquid white and usually liquid black just kind of readily available. Before I go too much further, I just want to kind of draw in these water lines of the back of the lake here. Well, that's just in case I get to go and find some other objects to put in here. I don't have to come in later and try to figure this out. Try to sneak in the water lines after you've already kind of covered them up. That's more difficult. But I just need a little bit, not a lot. Okay. I guess while I got the palette knife, I'll get a little bit of, I'll just take straight brown, Van Dyke brown, and come over here. Just get a little bit of land here. I don't think you need much. These are pretty far away, so you wouldn't need a whole lot, but we'll take a little bit of it and a little bit of blue, a little bit of white. Make a little bit of a highlight on it. There we go. Come down just a little bit to the front. Let's see. Yeah, we'll leave that like that for now. Okay, let's make another tree. Let's make a big tree right over here. And I'm going to take that same color, really dark tree mixture that I got for evergreens. I'm going to load the fan brush pretty good for this one because I'm going to need a lot of color. And notice what I did right in here. All right, I didn't drag a lot of paint in there. If I'd have had a lot of paint right in here, making this tree would be a whole lot more difficult. But I left that open thinking I would probably have something here, and I'm going to put a tree right here. Big old towering tree way up here. Wow. Huge. Coming all the way down. Look at that thing. All right. And same process. Tap. Back and forth, back and forth. If I don't like something, I'll come back and give it a branch. Right there. All right. Again, it's been a minute since I've done trees, but I have confidence that I can do this. I'm just watching, making little adjustments as I go, leaving some space for the branches. Try not to make it all muddy. All right. As you get down to the bottom, well, we're not to the bottom yet. We're about mid-tree. Again, this is a huge tree. That's when we can start to let it be closer together. The branch is a little less defined maybe. I'm going to have to get some more paint. All right. Wow. This is a big tree, guys. And I think I got a number 6 fan brush for this, I think. And we'll leave that about right there. We'll put some bushes in front of it. How about that? Well, that's a big tree. And it looks good if you ask me. Put my fan brush down, grab my palette knife, and let's see. That goes plumb off the canvas, so you can't really see much there. But, you know, I might stick a couple of these out. Maybe it looks like there's some trees in there. I think I did this a little bit already over here, and that's fine. Let me take a little bit of brown, a little bit of white. Actually, I can probably almost just use that same little mixture I had right there for the highlight of the land. And let's see, let's make just a little bit of a tree trunk. You might not even be able to see that very much. Maybe I need a little bit more white just so you can see it. And just a little bit coming through. You wouldn't need a whole lot. Those are so far, I'm not even going to worry about those. Okay, let's go back to our, no, I'm going to keep that brush in case I need to do some more reflections. And I'm going to grab a round brush, all right, an oval brush. And I'm going to get this dark color. Just get a lot of paint in there. A lot of paint in there. Okay. And let's make some bushes. Big old bushes. Okay. And we'll come back and highlight those bushes later. I'm going to mix up a highlight color for my trees. Take my palette knife, take some green, come over here in this yellow, and we're just going to mix that right there. Now what I might have to do, I've got a little bit of thinning oil over here, so I'm going to put just a little bit of that in there. I don't know if you can tell that's in there or not, but there's a little bit of thinning oil. Hopefully it'll help these highlights stick while I'm about off my palette. Wipe out my palette knife. And let's grab that fan brush. I'm going to wipe it out some, but hopefully I can still use it for some highlights. All right, let's just come back up in here and start at the top. Okay. And it's just bringing a little bit of color to the front of this tree. Yeah, I like that. Okay, good. Just a little bit of color. We'll let it stay dark towards the bottom. And get a little bit over here too. And I'm not sure how much that shows on the camera, but it's the amount that I wanted. I don't need this to be super bright. It's obviously not midday, right? We got the pink over here, so it's either morning or evening. But it does give some color to those trees that are closer. All right, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my, well, I'm going to use the 1-inch landscape brush. Get a little bit of thinning oil. I'm going to come over here and get some yellow. Got some yellow, got some green. I'm going to try to make some bushes that look okay. Again, it's been a minute since I've painted. All right, so cut me just a little bit of slack. But really, I just want to show you that once you learn the technique, you can make a painting that looks pretty good. I mean, this is by no means perfect, but it looks okay. And it's something I am personally proud of. Okay, so let's come in here and just tap. Okay. I'm going to have some brighter colors. A little bit of liquid white and mix it in there. All right, I'm just going to tap and go. Not thoroughly happy with that just yet. Let's see what I can do. See if I can use that old rounded oval brush. I have to get it light colored. I'm just mixing up some yellow, some light color right here on a tip of an oval brush, just so I can see the difference, how it might turn out. All right, let me reach over here and grab a different brush. I'm gonna grab a different brush. It's got a little bit more thickness to it. All right, now let me just see. That's a little better. Still not perfect. But a little better for bushes. Come up here and get a little bit of red. A little bit of red mixing with the yellow. Put a red bush right there. Get some red in here. Kind of make it just look like a mix of, oh, just wildflowers, wild bushes. Tell you what, I'm going to grab a liner brush and get a little bit of this thinning oil that I got over here. Come to a little bit of this. What I had over here is I had some yellow ochre. I'm just going to get a little bit of it on my liner brush right in here. Turning the brush through it a little bit. I'm going to see what this does for this. Just kind of putting a few little, yeah, there we go. Bringing these bushes a little bit to life. Some grassy things coming up through them. Sticking out there over the lake. Okay. I like that a little better. And maybe we'll take some more of that thinning oil and get a little bit of dark color. A little bit of dark color. Maybe some of these are more like cattails or something sticking out. See that? Just kind of touch them, and now instead of weeds, you got little cattails sticking out. All right, I know one more little thing we could try. I'll take a little bit of black on this liner brush here. Let's come right up in here. How about right here? Let's have a bird. We'll just touch it like that. Touch it like that. And we got a little bird flying in our painting. All right, that makes it a little bit unique, don't it? Okay. And for today, I think we're going to call this one complete. But, you know, what I really wanted to do, I wanted to come out here after not painting in, a couple months, just have an idea in mind, a concept or two, and just get to painting. All right, I wanted to show you that with this technique that Bob Ross and Bill Alexander and others have pioneered for us, that once you learn it, it really is an enjoyable and a practical technique that you can just, you can just decide to paint in 30 minutes or an hour and end up with something that you could be proud to hang on the wall. All right, so remember, if I can paint, you can too. See you next time.